Hello. I need to dye my hair. Well, half of my hair, I did my roots last night. I figured that you guys have seen me go blue a few times. There's not really anything that much exciting to do with the concept of putting blue on my head, so I thought I'd spice it up by being interviewed by AI, interviewed by our future. I guess this is what happens when human contact is less and less needed. We turn to Alexa. Hiya. God, you're awfully quiet. Are you okay? I think she might be sulking because I said she wasn't human interaction. Alexa, hiya. Oh, she thinks I'm saying higher. Go higher. Maybe human interaction is necessary after all. So basically, I'm just going to dye it while answering some questions from the beloved. Enjoy. Oh, and by the way, the dye that I'll be using is actually what I didn't intend to use today. I was actually going to use a dye that I ordered for this video, but I found this in my bag, in my hair dye bag of many dyes, and it's just Directions Turquoise, and I didn't realise I had this, but I think this would go really well on top of purple. As you can tell, there's still a remnants of purple here, but I think that should be light enough. I don't know if you guys remember, but my plan is to go half blue and then half green eventually, because I want to go green all over. I want to be like a forest green, but I'm so not ready to get rid of this blonde on this side, so I'm still experimenting with halves and halves at the moment. I knew purple wouldn't be my favourite. It was alright. It's still my least favourite hair colour. Got bored of it very quickly. I think it's really ugly now, so let's go. This is going to be quite, this is kind of greeny, but I don't want it this bright, so I'm going to definitely tone it down with some conditioner and not make the same mistake as I did with the purple and just go absolutely crazy with it. For some unknown reason, I said I was going to go pastel purple, and then I put so much purple, like pure purple on my head. But it did eventually fade pastel, as you can tell. This is basically a green. Well, that's quite nice actually. What do we think of that colour? Yeah, I think that's a cute colour. Oh, I just got blue on Buddha's head. Oh no. He's not going to be happy. Well, he might like it.
Which part of your body do you like the most?
Which part of my body? Oh my god. I mean, I guess if we're starting here, we'll talk about something that I'm actually conveniently standing in front of, and that is my mirror. And mirror gazing, reflection gazing, whatever you want to call it, is something which I've actually been doing a lot recently, and I would definitely say literally has changed my life, because it definitely adds a sense of appreciation and gratitude for parts of my body that maybe I hadn't stopped and appreciated before. And also it's trippy, it's kind of trippy because we don't tend to see ourselves as we see other human beings around us. And taking that moment to gaze at my reflection from time to time, every day if I can, is almost kind of making the person that I see in the mirror look like a separate entity to myself. It's almost like I'm seeing, there's this, I started off doing this activity because there's a woman called Mel Robbins, and she recommends that you look in the mirror every day and high five it. It's a cool concept because it sends little signals to your brain to say you are being recognized and celebrated. And when you do that to yourself, it kind of makes you realize you've got your own back. And God, I don't know if this is going to cover the purple. I'm a bit nervous now. Ooh, compared to the roots, this could go terribly wrong. Yeah, I started off feeling a little bit funny doing it. I kind of did it because it just seemed worth a try. Why not? This lady really preaches it. She says that it helps people, and I understood it. I was why don't we recognize ourselves more often? And also I think this year for me was about really finding myself and what I wanted, not what other people wanted of me or expected of me. And in order to do that, you've got to kind of look in, dig deep into your soul and figure out what your purpose is. And it's hard to figure that out when you're not actually looking at yourself. It's not just about feeling, it's looking at your individual person, yourself, and just asking yourself what you think that soul needs, what are we here doing? And I think the more and more I looked at myself properly in the mirror, the more and more I was sort of, I caught myself smirking at myself. Like, you know how like you walk into a room and you see your best friend in the corner of your eye, but maybe you like aren't going over to chat to her at this point in time, you're just sort of recognizing her. I think it got to the point where I was like walking into a room that had a reflection in, seeing my reflection, and like a little glimmer in my eye, a little like sparkle, like looks back as if to say like, hi you, like hello you. You remember that you are a person as well. There's not just the two other people that you're in the room with, there's also you. It like puts you in a better kind of more like self-assured, confident position, because I think growing up I've always thought like I should blend in and I don't have anything to add to the room. But I get older and I realise, hold on a second, like I am an individual too. Part of my soul is like asking to be recognised and not acknowledged, but that starts with yourself, right? So reflection gazing really helps with that, and I think it also helps with appreciating your body a lot more as well. Like your body this whole time has been here with you for all of the shit that you put it through, and I think that's rather magic. So going back to the question, I'm sorry I'm waffling. I do like my height, but I don't really think that's a body part. I do like my dimple, so I like my smile, my teeth, but that's been worked on. My hair, but I work on that. My waist as well. I like how when I wear a dress, like my waistline is very like cinched in naturally. So I've got like, yeah, a bum, yeah, a bit of a belly, yeah, some boobs, but I think the cinched in like little waist area I have, I'm really grateful for, because it like keeps, it's like everything's in balance. Everything's in good proportion. I just realised I didn't split my hair in half before putting gloves on, which is probably not a good idea. I think in order to do that, I actually need to go get myself a hand mirror. Bye. I would love to do a whole video on this mirror topic, because I think it is so powerful and it can be so helpful for a lot of people, but I know it can take a while for someone to get to the point of being able to just look at themselves in the mirror sometimes, because some people really struggle with their own reflection. But I think that going about your life telling yourself that and never getting over that is like trying to like brush something under the rug, really. Like I think it's skipping the first step of accepting yourself and living a life that's for you and not other people. But if you can, I would recommend setting aside like 5 minutes of your day just to sit in front of your mirror, particularly if it's a full length one. Just look at it, just really look at it. It's the same sort of feelings you get from that practice where some people put a picture of like their primary school photo next to their bed to remind themselves we're just still our little old selves who are trying to get by in life, and we need to like remember that they're in there just trying to do their best, and they deserve as much as what we give to our mum and parents and dad and friends and kids. And like sometimes I just walk past the mirror and I look at myself and I'm like, hi Ellie, how you doing? Like looking cute. Or if I don't look cute, if I've literally come in from the rain, I'm like, you look crazy, but I love it. Because it's okay just to accept yourself for whatever condition you're in. Even if you've just had twins and you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, oh my god, I don't even recognise the person looking back at me. You don't only like acknowledge your friends and people around you when they're in their best self, like in their best place. It's like that whole saying of, if you don't like me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. You have to have that attitude about yourself as well. Okay, so that was a terribly long answer for a terribly short question.
What is the best present you have ever received?
Present. I got a 13-foot trampoline on my 13th birthday. I remember that really well. I came home from school once and my dad even put it up for me, and it was a really hot day in the summer, and I walked through the kitchen and I could just see, because there's a big like long like line all the way down from the kitchen into the garden, and I could see the trampoline on the other side. We never had like a massive amount of money growing up. Like obviously my mum always did what she could and provided. Like we weren't poor, but we were, you know, my friends would have all these like interesting cool things, and I felt like I was always like a little bit behind in terms of maybe technology and like, I don't know, certain things. But I think that just like made me appreciate things when I did have them, and I reckon that's probably why my mum had that way of doing things, and I'll be the same with my kids. I just couldn't believe it that like my mum and dad had agreed to like a 13-foot trampoline. Like, that's absolute madness. Like, in fact, my mum like pushed to get it even bigger than the one I wanted, because she was like, oh, we may as well, considering we're like, you know, splashing out on this. I made so many memories on that thing as well, and lost so much weight unintentionally. I remember I spent the whole summer holiday on it, came back to school like a different person. But it's just because I spent every single day of that summer holidays jumping up and down, so of course my body was going to be like, whoa.
Do you think cars are a good thing?
I think people rely on them too much. I have this thing where like I have certain like friends and people in my life who are like drivers. They have a car. Obviously, it's a very good skill set to have. It changes your life, blah, blah, blah. But it makes me laugh. Like, I can tell when someone is a driver. Drivers who go for walks, like, get tired really easily. And they're like, geez, it's such a long way. Or, like, if we've got to go somewhere that's 20 minutes away, people who have a car are like, oh, well, we'll, like, get a taxi. Or, like, we can't walk there. It's like 8. It's like, oh, 20 minutes. And I'm just like, okay. And then this one time I knew someone who was like preaching about like how we shouldn't rely on our cars so much, and like how the planet's dying and all of this stuff. And then literally that same afternoon they said this. They went down the shop, like the local corner shop, in their car, and it was one of the funniest moments of my life, because I was like, how can you preach this one thing and then like completely go against yourself? I think hypocrisy is like one of my biggest like baffles in this world. So like that's why I always take my time to decide like where I stand by certain things, because I don't want to like go and do something that goes against my belief system. And so when I see someone else do it, I'm like, what? Anyway, I think we rely on them too much. I don't think that like they're bad. I don't think they're good. I'm kind of just indifferent. Yes, I want to learn to drive. I still haven't. The concept used to freak me out, and that's why I haven't driven before. But now it doesn't freak me out anymore. It's just the case of like, how the hell am I going to afford to learn to drive? And even if I do learn to drive, I don't think I'd have the money to have a car. But then again, Adam can drive as well, so he's never bought a car. So if I do learn to drive, then we might be able to go halves with that. Because I wouldn't need to use it as much as him, considering he'd use it every day for work, and I'd just use it to like go places on the weekends and stuff.
Is it better to have a single best friend or a group of friends?
Both. I've had it where I've got a group of friends and someone in that friendship group doesn't have a best friend, and they really feel it when they're hanging out with their like group of friends, because you know, someone in their friendship group will mention their best friend, and the other person will mention their best friend, and they'll talk about like something they did with their best friend, and then the other person's like, oh, I've never had a best friend. And it like cuts them, even though they've got like an entire group of people who will hang out with them. A best friend doesn't necessarily need to have everything in common with you. They just kind of get you to a soul level. You've got history together, or like they can cope with your shit a bit better than the normal person can. Because best friends are like long term. I feel like we change so much as human beings that it's unlikely to find someone who's been on the same wavelength their entire life with you. Whereas friends, you rely on for different things. So having a group of friends is good, because like a quarter of that group you go to Zumba with, the other quarter you love getting crafty with, the other quarter loves adventures and you always go hiking with them, or like wild swimming. And do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's good to have friends for different things, because I wouldn't do some of the stuff that I do with like friends that I do with my best friend. But I feel that a best friend is more like a sister. You might not have like massive amounts of stuff in common by the time like you are like 11 years deep into the friendship. Whereas friendships, I think you find them because you bond over something that you all are very like-minded about. And one of those friends can become best friends over time. But I think it's whether they pass the test of you guys evolving as a unit, and whether that affects them or not. If it affects them, you just kind of move on in your ways and you just get on with your life. But like a best friend won't leave just because you don't like doing the thing that maybe you initially bonded with them on. So that's why I think it's good to have both. Oh my god.
Have you done anything recently that you have regretted afterwards?
Absolutely, but I'm not going to go into that.
Are you a morning or an evening person?
Definitely an evening person, naturally, but I think that there's so much beauty in having mornings. Like, I'm not an evening person who detests mornings and hates like everything about like being a morning person. Like, I kind of wish I was a morning person, because when I do have mornings, they are like really special and they feel more productive, and there's something healthier, I think, about being a morning person, just because of the fact you get more daylight and stuff. But I know some people who are like evening people and detest the morning. Like they don't even enjoy the morning when it arrives. Like, I don't naturally get up in the mornings, but when we've got to get up early for something, it's a struggle to pull myself out of bed for sure. But then when I'm out of bed, I'm having like the best time ever.
What is the worst present you have ever received?
The worst? Why does she keep talking about presents? Is she gonna buy me a present? Maybe this is really just a very clever way for Amazon to figure out what they need more on their website. It wasn't even a bad present, but something that comes to mind that really still makes me laugh to this day was a gift that I was given by my uncle's mum. She's literally like still alive and kicking. She's like 104 or something. Anyway, lovely lady. She's still lovely. She's so youthful for her age. Like, it was Christmas and it was so random. I remember opening up these presents in front of everyone, which I get nervous about doing anyway, because opening presents in front of families, nerve-wracking because they're watching and they're like, ooh. I was very insecure at the time, didn't like my body anywhere near as much as I love it now, and I thought like I was chubby in comparison to like my sisters, my friends, and all of this stuff. And I got sent a shirt from her that had a big chubby cat on it, and it said on it, "Fat Cat," in big letters. And I remember like lifting it up and being like, excuse me? But now it's just hilarious. And I remember her like looking over and wanting to see like my reaction and thinking it was like really cute and probably like wanting to have a laugh with everybody. It wasn't malicious at all, of course it wasn't. And I knew that it wasn't because I didn't get offended. It was more the fact I was embarrassed for people to see it and be like, oh look, Ellie, like the chubby girl with her fat cat shirt. And so like I just remember like being so shocked that I just like wrapped it back up and put it back down on the floor. She must have thought, what?
Do you give to charity?
Ooh. Interestingly, I'm actually talking a bit about money on this channel at the moment. I don't know if the video is out yet, but it will be soon, about like money magic and also my attitude with money and like how I'm learning about money being an exchange and how it's ultimately just like a flow, and basically working on my blockages, so not being so like tight with my money and allowing it to like go out into places with trust that it's coming back, because that's something that I've always struggled with. I think it probably stems from what I was saying earlier about like my mum always teaching me, not teaching me, but I could feel that money was hard to come by sometimes, in comparison to other friends who just like were really like ungrateful and just got whatever they wanted all the time. Like my friends would be like, oh, how much budget do you have on Christmas? And they're like, oh, 500. And I'm there like, what? My mum agreed to like 90 quid and I almost pooed my pants. And things like giving to charity, being a bit more like open-hearted, open-minded, open-handed with things like money, is such like a, God, I have to make a separate video about this, to be honest, but my attitude with money has completely, it's like, I wouldn't say it's completely flipped. I'm still getting there. I feel like there's still so much I have to learn, but that's what makes it crazy, is that I feel like there is still so much that I can learn, but then I am already seeing massive amounts of changes. Like the less tight and stingy and uptight and tense I am about the concept of money, the more of it comes into my life, and the more I feel that flow of like in and out, the more I trust it, the more I get it, the more it's there. And I think that's wild. So like, yes, I'm starting to put money in spaces that need it. Instead of putting all of my stuff on Depop, I'm putting it in charity shops. The amount I donate to charity shops is absolutely wild. The amount I shop at charity shops is probably just equally as wild. I just get so much stuff from there that you wouldn't even think that you can get from there, such as like candles and like household objects that you can usually just go to Asda and get. Like, just pop to the charity shop first, guys. Like, the amount of money I've probably donated through shopping, not realising, because really I'm just doing my shopping. It is true, look, like the more giving you are, the more abundance that flows into your life. I used to see money personified as this like weedy little man in my life who is very scattered, shy, nervous, doesn't like trust the future, and now I see him as like fuller. He's not as like skinny and scrimpy and like weedy anymore. He's fuller. He is more emperor style. He knows what he deserves. Like, he works for his stuff. He's worthy. He is not afraid to ask someone for blessings. And I think replacing the phrase money or like currency or funds or budget with blessings is a really effective way to see it a bit more healthy and a bit more as an exchange, rather than something that you don't deserve or something that doesn't stick around for a long time in your life. Like, it's easier to not only give away more of your money and use your money in certain places because you see the money as a blessing for someone, like a service, a blessing for a self-employed person who did work for you, or like a little shop down your road that deserves the blessings because of the work they put in, or even, you know, giving blessings to someone on the street who really needs it. Like, that's a blessing. You are giving them a blessing in their life so that they can like change their life around, so that they can help, well, not even necessarily that, just bless their day, like help them eat or drink. Do you know what I'm saying? So it helps with that, but then it also helps with being more giving to yourself, because there's some weird stigma that's attached to money hungry people in the world, I think. Like, it's a bad thing if you're someone who wants money, seeks money. I used to feel like nervous about doing money magic, and I think even the idea of like telling people I want to manifest money and I'm doing a money spell has really helped me like realize that it's okay to want money. Like, I used to be ashamed of the idea of thinking that I didn't feel like I had enough money, and the more I talk about it with people, the more open I am to just the fact that it's just money. It's just an exchange that allows us to do more things because we can pay for more things. Like, it's just a bit of like some coppers and some like paper that opens up like gateways in our life for things that we want to do, and that's all it is. So that comes down to the reflection thing as well. Believe it or not, I think staring at yourself in a mirror can make you realize that this person needs their blessings too. They need stuff that keeps them healthy, supported, pays the bills, allows like doors to open for them. As a self-employed person, for sure, I can't be ashamed of knowing my worth, knowing what I deserve. And the more I've done that, the more it's just come rushing in. But like I said, there's a whole video on this coming soon.
If you could mix two animals together, which combination would you choose?
Whatever I say, I'm not going to pick something that makes an insect huge, because I have this weird fear of like large insects. It's their little pincers and their like big buggy eyes that creeps me out. I would say like something usually very big mixed with something very small instead, so then it's like really cute. Like maybe an elephant mixed with a baby bird, so we've got this tiny little elephant that has wings or something. Oh, actually that's a really cute idea. I'm gonna stick with that.
Who is your favourite character from a book?
Ooh, I don't read a lot of fiction books, I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably say Bilbo Baggins from The Hobbit, because I really relate to the fact he's this home-loving, antisocial, like creature who loves his own company, doesn't really like to cause a fuss, and he can be a little bit of a grump at times, but like the fact that he overcomes that and realizes like the worth that is in other people and adventure, and not just like dreaming all the time and making up adventures in your head. Like sometimes you have to go out and seek them, and that's like a kind of narrative that I sort of fell into in my own life. It's good for you to get out your comfort zone and also like explore life with other people and see the importance in connecting with others and not being such a grumpy grump. And he overcomes like so much fear as well that he has in the world, and I think that's also something that I can relate with, realizing that actually you are very capable, and you do, and everyone has their own traits that they bring forward, as do I just have to find them, and sometimes you got to do the stuff that you don't enjoy to get through to the stuff that you do. And in fact, I think sometimes the stuff that you're naturally good at and born on earth to do are the things that are hiding behind the stuff that you repel yourself about, or like the stuff you fear, or the shadow side of yourself. So jumping into those areas that are out of your comfort zone, and they say like great things come outside of your comfort zone, and that's true, but also I think it makes sense that you kind of fear the stuff that unlocks you to your truest self and your highest self, because when you get older, that's when you become like the closest version of who you were supposed to be, I guess, because you've got all this experience on your back. But that is because you've like had more time to like explore the areas that maybe naturally you would have like spent a good like 20 years of your life avoiding, until maybe it was forced upon you, or like you found some sort of courage later down in your lifetime. It's almost like your body, your like mind or whatever, your spirit can sense that something about this direction is like compelling or like quite divine if you let it happen. But it's almost like your body is trying to like protect yourself, because it knows that like the possibilities are like kind of endless and a bit overwhelming if you were to get there when you reach like your point, your place. So yeah, lots of long answers to so many short questions.
What is your proudest creation?
Creation. Creation in general is something that I'm realizing the importance of this year so much. Everything is creation. I think like a year ago I would have heard this question and just thought it meant putting like pen on paper or like making something out of clay, but really like creation is so much more than that. You can even say like I created this house, this home, this like reality for myself. This blue is really suiting me, by the way. I love that. I kind of want to do it on both sides. I mean, I could just say my channel as a whole. Obviously, what I've created on this space is my ultimate life work. It's my everything. That's something else I used to be a little bit like shameful of. I would hide away from the fact that I was proud of this space and this is who I am and this is like everything to me, because it felt kind of like vulnerable to say that. But like honestly, the more vulnerable I get, the more open I become as a person about feelings and the truth, the like greater they shine in gratitude in my life, and the more it shows in my face and my body language and the things I say and the people I'm around as well. And it inspires people, I think. Anyway, other than this channel as a whole, I don't know. There's just so many like pieces of content on this channel as well that I could mention. So that's it. I'm just gonna say that's it. I don't care, that's it. I'm going to get on with some stuff I need to get on with. I'll come back when my hair's dry. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in a busy boo. I don't know what it is about. Oh god, it's got really dark. I don't know what it is about this colour, but I literally feel like a different person. Maybe that's also something to do with the fact that my hair is just about made it to a middle part and now my fringe is grown out. So that's making me look very different. Does anyone else think that I just look like a different person? I almost don't look recognisable in the viewfinder, but I'd love to know what you guys think of this final look. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I just feel very different there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is this a cute colour? Has it... I mean, I can kind of tell where it gets deeper down here, the bottom of my hair, because there was purple residue. So there's a little bit of banding, or whatever you want to call it. Hot roots, because, I mean, the matter of fact is that I had blonde up here and purple down here. But considering that it's not too bad, my hair does need a little bit of a condition after the bleach job it's gone through, but I didn't just shampoo and condition it then because it needs as many oils, natural oils as possible. I've got a party to go to in a couple of days, so I'm gonna let it oil up, do its thing. Yeah, I'm intrigued to know what you think. Thanks for watching, everyone. In the comment section below, feel free to answer any questions yourself that you heard in this video so we can compare our responses. And if you haven't yet, make sure you have a little interview with Alexa because it's actually quite fun. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I have a tarot reading Facebook page, a tarot reading Instagram, a tarot reading email address if you want to use that to book a tarot reading with me. Thanks for watching. See me on behind the scenes stuff at Nincompoop on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And that's all for now. See you next time. Bye bye.